Hopefully that didn't blow your eardrums out. How are you? Oh, I do like this guitar solo. Give me a minute. All right. Enough of that. Welcome in, Natter Health and Wellness. I tell you, the day doesn't get more frantic than 10 minutes before I have a live show. So it never fails. Phone going off the hook. Daughter needed to borrow the car for leisurely activities. She's borrowing it for work right now. But aside from that, how are you doing? Thursday, for many of us, Thursday's the new Friday. I have a topic I'm pretty excited about. I'm also excited that we've already got 3 people chime in on the poll. So thank you for that. The poll is, if your life were a wheel right now, would it roll smoothly or wobble down the road? And it's okay that I think 2 said smoothly, 1 said wobble right now. It's okay. We all wobble from time to time, but that's what we're going to kind of get into. And before we do really dive deep in, today's topic is the 6 dimensions of wellness. And you're going to see, because week 1 I did reciprocal determinism, thoughts, behavior, environment kind of weave in with each other. One can change the other 2. Right into dieting and the good diets, the bad diets, and how that kind of weaves into the fabric of reciprocal determinism. Just making the choice, the behavioral change or the thought change of diet. I'm going to try to diet now. And then last week's episode was more about helping you find a good one when you've made that decision through the thoughts or the behavior to make that change. That all kind of melts into each other. Now you're going to find the 6 dimensions of wellness all weave into each other, all work with each other, and kind of work into all the things we've talked about so far. So I think what you'll find as we go along with this show, I don't know if I'll be live. I'll probably be live next week, but the following week I will not. This isn't every week, but so far it's been 3 weeks in a row now. I think you'll eventually find the same thing. My clients find out through Jeff Beck Health and Wellness is I truly do believe, everything is kind of intertwined and works together, humans and nature. And then when you break down the human even further down in the thoughts, the behavior, the environment, the 6 dimensions of their wellness. And we're going to get into those 6 this week. Again, you can chat live. If it's a good chat, I mean, they're all good chats, but hopefully it shows up there. It's still showing the poll. But if not, I'll read them on the air. It's fine. I'll make sure I give you some street cred there if you chime in on the chat. But we're going to break down each one at a time. The physical wellness, the emotional wellness, social wellness, intellectual wellness, occupational wellness, and spiritual wellness. And I do want to kind of concentrate a little bit more on the spiritual. It's always a hot topic. What do they say? At least they told me when I was growing up. Don't talk politics or religion if you want to have a cordial conversation with strangers. But I'm going to break down the spiritual wellness and why we're not necessarily talking about religion, although if you do believe in one, that's fine. I'll explain later. But anyway, before we get too far into this, I am Jeff Beck of Jeff Beck Health and Wellness. I have a page on North American Talk Radio's website where you can sign up for initial consultations. If it's the health and wellness or the mental wellness or the life coaching, the initial consultation's free. And if it's for the weight management, nutritional counseling, small fee. But either way, whichever one you sign up for, and you start getting charges for my services, I can help you with what's called a super bill, and you can submit that to your HR department or your insurance company, and oftentimes they'll reimburse you. So you can find that page, natalkradio.us/health. Now, once you book with me an initial consultation, you will then have access to my telehealth app, which is free for you to use. And, you only get charged for sessions, but through the app, you can text me any time of the day, any day of the week. And that's just my extra way of helping you out, because I do this on the side, the counseling. And, I'm more interested in helping people. That's why I do these shows. So, yeah, I got to pick something up here on the screen real quick. Sorry, this is terrible TV, but I just want to see the data. There we go. All right, so we're going to get into it. Again, the 6 dimensions of wellness. And, a lot of people think when you're talking wellness, especially when you get into the first one we're going to get into is like the physical wellness. We're just talking about weight. We're just talking about eating healthy. But really, wellness goes far beyond your weight, far beyond what you eat. It's about balance. It's about balance across all areas of your life. And actually, it's a good time for me to do this because I do have some loved ones. The one I just said borrowed my car. My daughter's one of them, one of many, that they're trying to find that balance, trying to find that happiness, especially through the occupational wellness part. So, and hopefully if you're watching this on replay, because I know it's hard to watch things live, especially at 6 p.m. Eastern, even if you're on the West Coast, it's early for you. I'm not sure the poll will show up for replay viewers. So I'm going to say it one more time. The poll is, if your life were a wheel right now, would you be rolling smoothly or wobbly? And I'd love if you're watching this on replay to chime in on the comments and let us know what you got there. So let's get into the wellness wheel, as they call it. Now, there's a couple forms you can look at it with. The far left one's the familiar one in the psychological world, the health and wellness counseling world. Kind of breaks it down pretty simple there: physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, occupational, environmental, which is another one, financial and social. The life balance up there: family and social connections, work and finance, body and health, meaning and values, which I really want to touch on, about having meaning, having values. It seems to lack, at least on the values end in society today. I have my theories on why that is. But yeah, that's something I'd like to talk about too. And then, the pie chart there: your sleep, your nutrition. I got to fix my glasses. I'm getting old. Sleep, nutrition, spiritual, personal growth, relationships, hydration's very important, physical health, mental health. So that's what we're talking about when we go to the wellness wheel. So I know I've talked a lot the last 2 weeks about, even with reciprocal determinism, I went a lot into the physical health. And then last week I did the dieting. But it's really a good place to start because, I see a lot of people that they have a lot of good things, make a lot of money, a lot of social contacts. They love their job, maybe pretty smart. The physical part's off. And when the physical part's off, it really starts to throw other things out of balance. You're fatigued early in the afternoon, or you don't feel well, or you're slow, sluggish, or you can't participate in activities with friends. So that's why I like to start with the physical wellness and work off that, make that our foundation. Look good, feel good, act good, be good. I mean, there's no way around it. Working on the physical aspect of yourself is very essential in having that balance, as we said in the top right-hand corner. So what is physical wellness? Really, it's taking care of your body through movement, nutrition, sleep's a big one, and then preventative care. I don't know if you watch Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime, but Jeremy Clarkson, kind of came out to the public, and he has aggressive prostate cancer. And really what saved his life was the preventative care. They caught it early, and it actually helped my father years ago. They caught his early. Preventative care is just as important as, staying fit, eating well, sleeping well, having proper nutrition to make sure those things don't surface. But you still never know. I mean, life's a gamble a little bit. You never know when they're going to surface. So the preventative care is just equally important. So what do we have? We have exercise. Listen, I'll give you a tip. If you're really out of shape and you really hate exercise, I'm going to give you a little tip. And this helped me. I'm not talking about the weight loss part. The first thing that helped me with weight loss was I cut out soda. But as far as trying to get motivated to exercise, first of all, if you're thinking about it and you're wanting to do it, that's motivation enough. It's get over that hump, get over that lazy hump of not doing it and just do it. So start light. I remember years ago, I would just be in the basement doing jumping jacks and crunches and, running in place. I didn't at the time, this was the first weight loss journey I went on. So 25 years ago or so, I'd jog in place, whatever you can. But if you're really, exercise, blah, blah. I know somebody recently last year that went and got a gym membership, and I said to him, you don't need that. Don't spend your money. Start with 15-minute daily walks. It's that simple. I remember as a kid, the neighbor lady, she was morbidly obese, and then we noticed one day all of a sudden, and yes, I grew up in a cul-de-sac, but she started walking every day. And I mean, multiple times around the neighborhood. Cut to like 10 years after she started walking, I mean, she was a stick figure. I mean, she had lost all that weight. So you don't have to, people think you got to go big nowadays. Like if you want to lose weight, like I said last week, if you take in 4,000 calories a day and your break even's 2,500, don't try to cut all the way down to 2,500 immediately. Start with 200 calories this week, 200 more calories next week till you get down to that. You're going to see the results. So that would be my quick tip on the physical wellness discussion point. Number one, exercises. Start small. Start taking walks. If you have a long driveway, start taking walks to the mailbox. Don't try to do it all at once. Healthy eating. Again, we talked about it last week. Again, everything's going to intertwine that I talk about and bring things into kind of a nucleus. So we talked about the healthy eating last week. I'd encourage you to look up that episode. That'll work into the exercise. Sleep habits. Man, I used to fight my daughter for years. She's an adult now, about her sleep habits really set the tone. If you have terrible sleep habits, and I was bad at it for years too, I've forced myself now to be in bed by 10. Now, I'm one of those people that needs to have the TV on before I fall asleep. But I force myself to be laying down by at least 10. I'm averaging an hour and a half more sleep a night now since I've forced myself to do that. So sleep habits is huge. And then regular checkups, the preventative care. Don't skip the doctor just because it's an inconvenience that you have to go at on a Friday at 3 p.m. Go get checked. Men and women, go get checked. You have to do it. Okay. There's no way around it. So that's kind of the physical wellness. It's not just one thing. It's not just exercise, not just losing weight. It's all those things, sleeping properly and all that. Now, dimension number 2, the emotional wellness. What are we lacking in today's times? A lot of emotional awareness or emotional intelligence. It's lacking. A lack of empathy. Again, online, you're behind a keyboard. You're anonymous. It's easy to lack this. We need emotional wellness, right? We need to kind of get things centered. And emotional wellness also goes along with stress management. The life can be stressful. We have news 24/7. Jobs are more and more demanding, more hours, not a whole lot more pay. That's a different, I'll do a political show someday. But we need to really manage our stress. We need to be self-aware. I have some clients. My daughter, she's not a client, so I can say that. I abide by HIPAA laws. But I'm just saying, I noticed that a lot of younger people in their early 20s to teens don't have a lot of self-awareness. And I won't give specifics. I'm not trying to embarrass you or make you feel bad. Just, you need to learn some self-awareness. I would honestly, maybe look into it if you feel like maybe that's an issue for you. Maybe do some reading. There's some articles. Don't go to Wikipedia. Any of you college kids watching, it's not a verifiable source, but we need some of that. We need resilience. Another problem in today's world, and again, I think you could attribute that to the social media and the TikTok age. Not a lot of people are resilient. They can't take rejection. There's going to be bad days, so you need to work on the self awareness and being more resilient, or you're not going to have an emotion. You're not going to have emotional wellness. And then the final one I'm going to say is mental health. And psychiatrists have psychiatrists, right? I'm thinking of The Sopranos. I've watched recently with my girlfriend, and Tony Soprano's psychiatrist had her own psychiatrist. But in real life, I've talked to psychiatrists, friendly at events or whatever. Since I'm certified, I'm not licensed. I'm more of a life coach, a wellness coach. But I've talked to psychiatrists. Yeah, they go see their own therapist. It's natural. You need somebody to talk to, maybe outside of the friend circle or outside of the family circle. Mental health is very important, and this is a very stressful time for humans, for society. Very stressful. And I think it's the amount of information that comes at us nonstop, the peer pressure online to look like you're having fun, the Facebooks and the TikToks. So, yeah. And, I would love to, as we go along, in the comments, if you feel compelled, if you're watching live or on replay, we've mentioned physical wellness. Let me know how many hours do you sleep at night, and how many hours would you like to sleep at night? And then with the emotional wellness, I'm looking at my notes. With your emotional wellness, rate your current stress level 1 to 10. Now, do I expect anybody to be at a 1 all the time? No. I'm not at a 1 right now. I was in a vehicle for 8 hours for my day job, right? I covered 6 counties today. I'm not at a 1 stress level right now. I had a lot of frantic things going on before I went live. But if you start getting up to the 6s, the 7s, the 8s, it's time to, meditate or talk to somebody, book with me, do something to decompress. So those are the first 2 questions. If you're watching on replay, if you're watching live, chime in. How many hours of sleep do you get per night? How many did you get last night? And then what's your stress level 1 to 10? All right. Dimension number 3, and hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I try to limit this to 30 minutes. We're already halfway through, and we're not even halfway through the dimension. So social wellness. And I know a lot of you are going to confuse that for, oh yeah, I got 100 likes on my post last night. That's not social wellness. That's not anything that you do online. Okay, yes, you could say you're interacting with people, but I have friends at work. They are, honestly, I consider them friends. Some have been here. They've helped me with some things. I've helped them with some things. I'm talking true social wellness, family relationships. Hopefully you're not having any kind of familial rift or whatever. My mom's birthday's tomorrow, 80th birthday. I'm going to call her, hopefully go see her. It's good to family's great. And again, I understand some people don't have tight-knit families. There's got to be somebody in your family that you can talk to. Because you want to build healthy relationships, meaningful connections. That's why I said earlier, at the beginning of this dimension, anything online isn't really going to count unless it's a family member or a friend, or you're involved in community activities and then you're interacting on a post. I get that, but I'm more concerned about your social wellness. Are you interacting face to face, human to human, heart to heart? Family relationships, friendships. I have several friends. I'm usually the one that's bad at calling them, but I'm always worried about interrupting their day. I text a lot, but I do have a couple friends. We talk on the phone probably at least once a week. Community involvement is huge. I know the last two times I went to a food bank and volunteered, not only was I doing good for others, and some of those others were there, very grateful, but it's amazing how much swells up in you in a good way. The good feelings, just the outlook on life when you get involved in your community, and in communication skills. If you struggle with that, how are you going to? You're not going to be able to practice communication skills online. So, yeah. So here's an audience question. Again, if you're watching on replay, I want you to answer in the comments. When was the last time you called a friend just to check in? And I've got really good friends that are really good at checking in. But, I'll give you a tip. If you want to, we'll go back to the last one. If you want emotional wellness, practice gratitude by write down 3 positive things each day, whether it happened that day or just positive in general in your life. I had a client do that a couple years ago. It was amazing to see this person, when they first met with me, think this is life's terrible, I have nothing going on, to I made them write down 3 positive things each day. And I don't think they ever ran out of things to write down. And it had a huge, profound effect on them and the way they looked at the world. So here's a tip for social wellness. Pick up the phone, turn off the apps, call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while just to check in. One person, a parent, a sibling, a neighbor, a friend, a loved, I was going to say someone you're dating, but I hope you're talking to them more than, once in a while. Yeah. Just reach out to someone, and you'll hear it in their voice. Maybe the initial surprise, but then the gratitude that, oh, wow, they care. They do care. They called me. That's a tip for you on the social wellness. Halfway through, as I say every week, I guess I'm not going to commercial. It's okay. Intellectual wellness is one that's very important to me because I left, I graduated high school. I went and played college football. I thought I was going to become a school teacher. It wasn't really the path I really wanted to take. I left school without graduating, went to work for many, many years. And then when my means and my life got a lot better, through experience and working up to better jobs, I had the means to go back. I finished my degree. And a lot of people think, well, that's great, but I didn't stop there. I've always had interest in psychology. So, I took courses at Yale, and then I took courses at Cornell. I'm in the middle of, getting my certification for the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I just keep learning. And you're like, oh, is this guy bragging? I'm not bragging. I'm telling you, it's so healthy, no matter what age you are. It's just so healthy to keep learning. Please do. It doesn't have to be for a degree or certification. Keep learning. And North American Talk Radio does a great job of putting up informational videos. Just as simple as that, watch something that you learn something new. Intellectual wellness is so healthy for you. Keeps your mind active. You're engaged through the learning and the creativity. And it's going to do wonders for you. And the continuing education and learning new things is going to motivate you to be better in all these areas. It'll help you with problem solving, exploring new ideas. You might stumble upon something that you have a passion for that you never really thought of in the past. Yeah, there you go. And if you need a tip on how do I start this, you don't have to go enroll in an expensive course or college. Most people have books laying around their house they never read. The old joke, I think it was from Seinfeld, maybe not. You just want the books, so you want people to think you read them. You haven't read them. Just like the physical wellness, starting slow with a little 15-minute walk every day. Intellectual wellness can start slow too. Read 10 pages a day. That's nothing. 10 pages will take you a couple minutes. right? That's an easy way to start with the intellectual wellness. So if you want in the comments, watching live or on replay, share something you've learned recently that's new. It's a new thing that you learned, whether it's a skill or a fact. Would love to hear that. Again, hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I mean, we're 25 minutes in. We still have 2 dimensions to go. Occupational wellness. We're going to go over tonight because occupational wellness is dear to my heart right now because the woman I love is facing this reality. A friend is facing this reality. I won't say too much, just because I don't want to give maybe they don't want people to know this, but the woman I love, it's not with her current employer. It was, you look for opportunities and you have to weigh this. Am I going to have occupational wellness? But I was on the phone today with someone, and again, because of HIPAA, I can't be too specific. Okay. So I'm not going to say gender. I'm not going to say location. I'm just going to say they are feeling singled out over very meaningless things maybe not in the handbook. It feels very deliberate that it's towards them. And I just brought up occupational wellness. Do you feel like you have purpose, satisfaction, and balance in your work? Do you feel fulfilled with this job? Do they allow work-life balance, or they expect you to always be there? Are you leaving room for professional growth, or are you going to be stuck where you're at long term? And is there going to be burnout? Well, if they're singling you out for things that aren't technically rules, but they're the only enforcing it with you, that's a sign that you're going to have some burnout. That's a sign you're not going to be fulfilled. That's a sign that you're not going to have any growth. They're not going to let you move up the food chain if you're at the bottom of the food chain right now and they're singling you out for things that aren't technically rules. So here's a question I want to ask you. Do you work just for the paycheck, or do you find meaning in what you do? So my day job, I think a lot of people think I'm doing it just for the paycheck because, quite frankly, it's more than I've ever made in my life. But I also believe in what I do. I interact with a lot of people. I help a lot of people. I have a lot of people that hate me for what I do out in the public. But oftentimes, I think you'd find that 99% of the people I deal with in the public that have treated me with respect would say that I go out of my way to help them in dilemmas they have. So you got to ask yourself, do I have an occupation right now that gives me any of that? That gives me any purpose, any satisfaction? Do I feel satisfied working there? Do I feel balanced there? Do they allow me to have work-life balance? I love my daytime employer. I mean, I think I had 7 weeks of vacation to use this year. I haven't even used half of it yet. I haven't used any of it yet. Right after the 4th, I'll use my first week. Work-life balance is huge because if you have an employer that expects you to only be focused on the job you do for them, don't forget about your kid's little league game or their dance recital or their theater production. You need to be here. Look, we need to make a paycheck, but you may want to start looking for something different because there are still companies out there that expect that. And you're going to feel maybe, okay, you feel okay now. Well, I'm hustling, I'm making money. That's going to really start to chisel away at your happiness. And you're going to start to regret that job and hate that job. And it's going to affect more than just dimension number 5, occupational wellness. So again, the question to you that you can answer in the chat, do you work just for a paycheck or do you find meaning in what you do? And I'm going to give you one little quick tip. Identify one skill you'd like to improve this year. That's your challenge. That's my challenge to you. Identify one skill you'd like to improve this year. I have several. And listen, I don't say things on this show or to my clients to try to sound like I'm arrogant or anything like that, but I feel like I'm pretty successful, I'm pretty well-rounded, but I still have some skills that I'm really challenging myself right now, especially for the North American Talk Radio YouTube. I'm challenging myself to put out more meaningful content that gets more viewers. I'm working on my documentary skills. So there's always something we could find that we'd love to get better at. So that's my tip to you. Try to really identify one skill that you'd love to improve in the next 12 months and then go after it. Okay. Lastly, but surely not leastly, don't call me Shirley, I do need a sip of my, I told you last week, I drink fake beer now. I call it fake beer, non-alcoholic beer. I think this is an Athletic. I can't remember which Athletic. Hold on. I really am Irish, and that really is tasty. And I really am grateful. I'm showing gratitude, like I mentioned earlier. I'm showing gratitude that a woman has come into my life and suggested this. I never thought I'd drink non-alcoholic beers, and I can't express this enough. I love it. I love it, because I was more of a taste guy anyway when I drank regular beers in the past. So, spiritual wellness. What is it? It's finding purpose, kind of like the job, purpose and meaning, and connection to something greater than yourself. So, before I said something greater than yourself, did it not touch on a lot of things in the other dimensions? Finding purpose, social connections, occupational wellness, finding meaning, social connections, occupational wellness, finding connection, social, intellectual, occupation. I mean, that's what I'm saying. These all kind of weave into each other. So, what do I mean by spiritual wellness? Or what does science mean by, the psychological world mean by spiritual wellness? Having personal values. It seems like that's gone by the wayside. People will show anything, say anything online to try to get clout, to try to get clicks. At the end of the day, you're eroding away your true wellness, your true center. It may feel good today. It may have gotten some clicks. You may have made a couple bucks online, but life is longer than you think. My mom turns 80 tomorrow. That's a long time. It doesn't feel long to us because life is so precious, so we want to live forever. But 80 is a long time. Not having values is not going to feel good for very long, and it's going to start eroding away like the waves on the beach. Whoosh. It's just going to start eroding away at your happiness, your dignity. You got to have values. Faith or belief systems. Listen, not everybody's religious. Not everybody believes in God. It's fine. But you have to have some sort of belief system. If it's not God, it's the belief in, we should love each other. We should be loving or empathetic people, right? Another way you can get spiritual wellness without, maybe having any kind of religion is through meditation. Again, what did I say at the beginning of this show? Reciprocal determinism, they all work together. Right. And the diet can work into that. And then the 6 dimensions of wellness kind of work in and weave into each other. They all kind of, meditation helps you weave into the natural world, right? That we are part of. What did I say? I think it was, last week, the dieting. We're all kind of one fabric. Light comes down, hits the plants. They store it as glucose, sugar, fats. We either eat the plants or the animal eats the plants and we eat the animal. And that's how we get our energy. And energy is life. It's all one. So meditating, getting one with nature, I'm telling you, huge benefits. It's scientifically proven. It's got huge emotional, mental, physical benefits to you and your wellness That falls under the spiritual wellness part. And then service to others. Honestly, what kind of existence are you if you don't help others? Right? Because whether you're into Christianity or not, the do unto others as you'd have them do to you is a great lesson on how to live. So, I can't speak enough on spiritual wellness. I mean, I'm already 5 minutes over on the show, but that's okay. We're trying to work on wellness here. And, I have a bold note here in my notes. Spiritual wellness doesn't have to mean religion. There's a distinct difference between spiritual wellness and because I hate I don't hate talking about religion. I hate the fact that you always have to clarify there's several religions, they're not just one. So spiritual wellness. I know myself. I've read I don't know 4 or 5 different religions actual text. A lot of it's similar, right? And a lot of it's similar. So this all kind of touches on it. So here's a reflective question to the audience. If you want to chime in again, what gives your life meaning? Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's, some, organization that you're involved in the community. It doesn't have to be something that I can think of right now on the spot live. I'd just like to know what gives your life meaning. And a quick tip on this section here for spiritual wellness: spend 10 minutes in quiet reflection each day. We have enough devices. That's my personal one. That's my business one. I got screens everywhere. Just take 10 minutes. Even if you don't want to meditate yet, just take 10 minutes, sit in a quiet room, maybe close your eyes, and just reflect each day. You might, that's what I do when I'm sleeping. Nah, you're sleeping. We want you aware and awake and clear your mind and just kind of have a moment of reflection. It'll do you wonders. I mean, I do it in the middle of concerts, and I brought up concerts because I'm going to one soon, first one of the year. So, can't wait. All right. We're not going to do the wheel assessment. It's hard to do on a live show, so I don't want that on. I did not want that on. Sorry. So there we go. Physical, emotional, social, intellectual, occupational, spiritual. And again, sorry I talked fast. I try to keep it close to the 30-minute mark. You can always rewind and re-listen. I would love to hear your thoughts. Wellness is multidimensional. It's not just, one area or the other. It's all of them. It's multidimensional. Balance is more important than perfection. I hope you heard that. Listen, I like sports. If you ask, a perfect, I don't know that there is one, but, the Michael Jordans, the Tom Brady's, the LeBron Jameses, they're as close to perfection as you can get. I think they would tell you the pursuit of that perfection in their chosen field. I'll say field because it doesn't just have to be about sports people. It can be about any, a lawyer or a doctor. Their pursuit of that perfection will naturally cause other areas of their life to suffer a little bit. It has to. There's only so much time in the day. There's only so much focus you can give to one thing only. So honestly, when it comes to wellness, balance is far more important than perfection. And you can still be a great and have balance. Okay, so don't be afraid of that. Small improvements, and I've said this is the third show in a row I've said this, small improvements can lead to lasting change. I said that with the calories last week. I said that with this week with the physical activity. I said that the week of the reciprocal determinism. Small improvements. Everybody wants all things at once. Everybody wants everything immediately. No. Keep it reasonable, like SMART goals, SMART. Make it attainable, obtainable, measurable, something you can track, and do it slowly. It doesn't. I hate to use the term slowly. Start small. We'll put it that way. And then again, I'm going to use the word perfection in a negative connotation. Focus on your progress. Don't try to be perfect. Just focus on the progress, because progress is always good, right? There we go. Here we go. Here's one challenge to my viewers. I want you to choose the dimension you think you lack the most and commit to a small action this coming week to help improve that dimension of your wellness. That's it. Just commit to one small act to help improve that. So if social wellness is the one you feel like you're lacking the most in, go volunteer somewhere, call a friend, call a parent. Boom. There you go. That's one small act that improves that dimension, and then go from there. That's it. Listen, wellness is not a destination. Okay? There's not a final destination when it comes to wellness. Again, I said my mother's going to be 80 tomorrow. Her wellness meter is always moving. That's a lot of years, right? This year it might be something she needs to work on. Next year it's different. There's no final destination. It's always something you have to be cognizant of. It's a daily practice of balancing the different areas of your life. Things come at us. We got to be able to handle them. That's my spiel. You're getting lucky with this show. I have not run one commercial. I'm going to, on my way out, play my commercial because I really, want to help people. So I really want you to see it, hear it, and hopefully I hear from you. Otherwise, have a great weekend. I don't think we have any live sports on North American Talk Radio. We do have some cool stuff coming up here in about mid-July with like vacation drone footage, which is going to be pretty cool from Michigan, maybe some driving video. And then I know one of our guys, Michael, is coming out of a bad virus, so I think he's going to get active. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. See ya. Hi, I'm Jeff from Jeff Beck Health and Wellness. This may look like a dingy basement, but it makes for a great workout space. It stays cool in the summer. It's out of the way of the rest of the house. Great place to work out. You can even have a TV where you're watching Trailer Park Boys. That's what I do. I have my push-up board over here, works out different muscles. I have my weight bench over here. You can't see it in the screen, but I have a throw rug, an old throw rug. I do my crunches. And if you have the means, you have a treadmill. You could put a treadmill down in the basement. But the outdoors provides a great place for walking or running, jogging, whatever you need to do. It doesn't take a lot of equipment, doesn't take a lot of money to get in shape. And, I specialize in health and wellness counseling. If you're having social issues, professional issues, I specialize in nutritional counseling. Weight management. Please reach out. Any issue you have, I can help. You can access my health portal through our partner at North American Talk Radio, natalkradio.com, natalkradio.us/health, or you'll see health and wellness on the menu. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope you have a healthy, happy, prosperous day. Please reach out. Jeff Beck Health and Wellness. Thank you.